Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo. I am your host and keeper, the Harry Channel. And with me tonight, let's see, we have, actually a pretty good panel here. We've got Serenity Star 13.
All right, hello.
Hello. DrFunctional.
I am the science.
Yeah, you are the science. Hey, we should talk about that movie sometime. SkepTock.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And Geodes, I think he might be busy, but he'll be with us in a moment.
I'm here. Yep.
He's there. Excellent.
Just full of
Well, I was going to, usually this is where I say, how are you all doing today? But I got my new computer yesterday. And so I'm going through the transition from Intel Mac to Mac Silicon. Apparently there's a pop to my voice, so I'm sorry if it's too distracting for everybody, but it seems to be StreamYards. Or maybe it's just the ARM build of Chrome.
We know, Judes.
Who the freak knows?
It's not that bad. It's like you're talking through a vinyl record.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That would make me cooler than usual. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it'll incentivize me to let you guys talk more. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to unburden themselves of before we start?
No.
Not that I can think of, no.
You have an okay day? Everybody doing good?
Oh, yeah.
Repent, sinners.
All right.
Chris Cuomo announced that he's running for governor of New York.
Please tell me you're kidding.
You're kidding, right?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Oh, thank God.
But I
Can't
wish
be
I
that
wasn't.
stupid.
The
Can't be that
Impromopotamus is running for governor of Georgia.
She is the governor of Georgia. She's the actual governor.
She's
real-
the shadow governor.
Yes, she is the shadow governor.
So wait, Stacey Abrams is running again?
Well, running is a metaphorical term.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
she's more waddling.
The earth
Ambling.
would shake.
Waddling rumbling for office.
Ambling.
Carded.
Yeah, ambling, rumbling, farting. She's a farting porker.
Mhm.
Ambling her way to hoping to land in the governor's suite. So that's pretty fun.
I feel like there's a song behind that we can make out of this. Yeah, about the Abramopotamuses doing what Abramopotamuses do.
Does it have kind of a circusy vibe to it? Kind of a like just imagine like some baby elephants kind of moving in, going, I can't walk good.
The baby elephants are to make her look smaller than she is.
All right.
I've eaten and I can't get up.
All right. So, as we often like to do, I like to start with something stupid from the food world. Just a little something before we do something real. There's a trend of this thing called Oreo Sushi. And I don't understand why this exists, but apparently it exists. So let's look at this for a moment.
This Oreo sushi tastes incredible. You only need 2 ingredients and there's no bacon involved. Just separate the Oreos and finely crush up the biscuits. Add your milk, then mix to form a dough. Add 2 teaspoons of milk to the cream filling and mix to form a paste. Then press your dough into a rectangle, cover it in cling film and roll it out with a rolling pin. Trim the edges, then scoop the filling onto the top and smooth it out. Roll it up nice and tightly using the cling film to help. Then wrap it up and pop it in the fridge. Slice it up and that's it. Enjoy.
To do this.
Why?
I don't know why they just don't call it a Swiss roll. That's a Swiss roll. That's
No,
not
it's not a
sushi,
Swiss
it's
roll
Swiss roll.
because that's a cracker, not cake. It's
I
not a
know.
Swiss roll. But you've done nothing. All you've done is take Oreos, take them apart, and change them into a different shape, and then say that you made something. There's nothing
it's
here.
cooking. This is cooking.
It's not cooking.
You can literally buy Oreo cookie crumbs or mix.
But
Why are you?
the thing that you make us the saddest is the fact that it has over 230,000 views. That's what you make us saddest.
This is one of many such videos. There are a whole bunch of these damn things.
All right, plug in, do what you want to. Oh, damn. I want to see if she had a higher dislike ratio. She doesn't. She only has 237.
What's the name of the channel so I can berate it?
Fitzwaffle, I think it's what it was called.
Fitzwaffle.
Yeah, well, that's just one of them. There's a whole bunch of them.
Oh yeah, Google it. There's a lot of them.
Waffle. Oh no.
Well, don't save some of your powder for this next thing too. So there's this piece here called Women Speak Out on Insidious Manipulation Tactic That Can Kill a Relationship. You're going to end up a single dad. And what they're talking about this is they're saying it's weaponized incompetence. So here's pictures of these women looking sad because their partners pretend to be bad at things so that they can get out of work. At least that's the thesis here. See, she looks happy and well-adjusted and not pissed off about everything.
Well, the problem with this thing is that, one, I think it was talked about, and I know the last time I remember it being talked about in a funny sense was on the sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond. Like, he talked about being stupid at something, so this way she would do it. But at the same time, like, I've seen these women lose their shit, and 90% of the time they lose their shit because it's not exactly how they would do it. Now, some guys are going to be stupid, but I can't say that if it wasn't the first time I was dealing with some of this stuff, I wouldn't do the same stupid shit. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I mean, you're not teaching them. You're not giving them time to learn. You're expecting them to do it exactly the way you would do it, and yet you never showed them anything. What are you expecting? And let's face facts, you're never going to give up custody of those kids to him because then you lose some of your money. I'm sorry, I said that out loud.
Wait, are you saying that some women keep their children just to keep a hold of the money?
Yes.
Their paychecks.
No.
Because then they hire nannies. I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
being very tacky right now.
Maybe this is a thing that doesn't happen so much anymore. But I used to observe on occasion these women, and I go, "Why are they with this schmo? You know, why are they with this guy?" And I realized that some of them would do this like fixer up thing. They'd find some guy that they thought had potential, and then they would, you know, take them and try to mold them. Like, hey, how about you know, you look really sexy and manly when you take night classes. You know, they do that thing and try to make them into something. So maybe it almost kind of sounds like a buyer's remorse kind of thing.
Well, it's the whole weird thing of control too, because they want the control because they want it done their way, but then they get upset because they get burnt out because they're taking care of kids but at the same time they're not delegating. But when they do delegate, when he doesn't do it right, they get mad. Like the amount of times I've been on Instagram because I refuse to download TikTok. And wives are making these stupid jokes where they're like, I have to cut out pictures of the groceries that we need because he never comes back with the right stuff. It's like, is it like you sent him out for whipping cream and he came back with celery? Or is it he just didn't come back with the brand you want? Because those are two different animals. It's a control thing, it feels like, in a lot of these cases. Like, it's just they want to be able to control. Like, they want to call men stupid, and then they want to say that these guys are manipulating them, but manipulation does take some semblance of intelligence. So it's I don't know, it's cake and eating it too, basically. They want the guys to be smart enough to manipulate, but too stupid to know how to do anything. It's a really weird mentality. Like, I don't know how.
That actually made me laugh out loud.
It's just somewhat like, and this is honest. Like, I do think birth rates are dropping and it's bad, but some women should just never fucking be married. Ever.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people need to adjust their expectations. Men and women.
Many people should just be suffocated at
well, they
birth.
expect perfection. They expect they're going to find somebody, and that everything's going to be like the honeymoon period, and there's never going to be any work involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, I mean, everything is about, you know, when you love somebody, you kind of have to accept their flaws too. So before you form a relationship with somebody, you better be clear on what those flaws are and how you feel about it. Don't wait a year or two in and go, I don't understand why this man-child can't take out the trash, and then make videos about it on TikTok because you just look stupid.
But there's one other thing that you better accept too, and that is that you will never change or fix anyone.
Yep.
Period. No, you'll never do that.
Yep.
Get that out of your head.
They have to make the choice, and even then, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to do it.
Boy.
Yeah.
No one's ever said anything truer than what Serenity just said.
Like,
that's the truth.
And for me, it's very, very difficult because I come from a single mother household, and my mother, like, she just like divorced my father and said, "You have joint custody, but I don't want anything else from you," and that's it. And the man never saw me again after 3. So my mother did all the stuff that these housewives, who were just housewives, who were complaining on this. They don't have any other jobs. Maybe they belong to an MLM, and they're a shyster for it. But that's about the extent of it. And it's like they're complaining about doing the stuff that my mother did on top of having a full-time job. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's kind of like, I'm sorry that you have to take your kid to school. Do you want me to cry for you? Like,
not flawed. I'm perfect. God damn it.
But it's this whole thing of like, to me, it does really feel like a control thing. It's a woe is me and a control.
It definitely is control. It's emotional abuse. I mean, this is what they talk when they say that, you know, both parties, both genders in given relationships can be abusive. It just tends to skew physical for men and emotional for women. But I mean, this is exactly what they talk about when they say this is emotional abuse. You're being manipulative to the point of, I deign to say evil, but you're doing it to be to attack somebody. To me, that's kind of on the evil spectrum of things. So you're doing it to hurt somebody. You're not doing it for, like, for example, deceiving your partner to give them a surprise, or you know, do something nice. But they use it to break someone down, to make them more pliable, more easily controllable. And it works. It unfortunately, it works, because when you're in a relationship of that magnitude, you as a man, woman, doesn't matter, you will see things differently, because there is that haze, especially when you were saying about the honeymoon period. There's that definite haze of, oh, well, maybe that can change. And
well, there's also
and insidious.
There's also the fact of, let's face facts, it's social media. We don't know what they're telling the truth about.
Exactly.
And it's also the fact of, many cases, the husbands don't know about these accounts. So you're going online, belittling them to strangers who were in the process in the comments. Because if you read some of these comments, these women are like, oh my God, my husband's the same way. They're so stupid. And it's kind of like, if they ever do catch that, I'm sorry, that's grounds for divorce on my part. Like, if I was in that kind of relationship, because it's like, and you're talking to the internet instead of talking to me. First off, you're then allowing other people to belittle me on top of you belittling me. And a lot of these people may be people we actually know, like our kids go to school with them or whatever. So you're basically destroying me behind my back because you don't have the backbone to talk to me about it. Thank you.
If
Here's
it's
the horse paper.
Yeah.
It's manufactured oppression. That's all it is.
Yeah. I think it's also comedy. Which
well,
social media has been killing comedy.
Well, we have a segue now. Speaking of oppression, what do you guys think of this? Okay, Miss USA's first transgender contestant.
Sorry.
Let's make that a little smaller there. Sorry, we're working out some. Oh, I hate you. Okay. All of my keys are mapped to the wrong things.
Now this is old Cataluna.
So Cataluna Enriquez is already on being eliminated early. I think they were just not ready. Now,
or maybe you should have been an actual woman, and it would have worked out better.
Well, I mean, maybe I should stay out of certain types of nightclubs or something. But to my mind, this person's passing reasonably well. I wouldn't necessarily know by looking at this picture.
Is that the transsexual?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, not
good job.
Not she looks fairly female. I mean, I wouldn't know just from the picture that there was an issue here. But immediately it goes to, I didn't win, therefore you must be oppressing me.
And when you get to closer up pictures of her, she doesn't pass that well. But continue. I'm sorry.
She made it
to
the Miss USA contest. You're already a winner at this point. You've already won pageants to get this far. You've already made it into the big competition. Shut up. You're not being oppressed. If you were being oppressed, you would have never even made it you would have never even made it that far. You don't get to just win. I'm fairly sure that in the entire United States for this pageant, we can find 49 other people better looking than this person. Well, I know I'm just being shallow, but
that's what the contest is about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a scholarship contest.
Well, I mean, she also won. It's Miss Nevada. They're not exactly the reddest state on the planet. But she also apparently designs her own. Now, this is something I actually respect a lot more. She designs her own pageant dresses, and she has an entire line for other people who want to wear dresses. We're going to go that route. So this is a big boon for her business. So get your name out there, honey, but it wasn't about not being ready.
Well, this is just terrible. I should not be the one reading if I'm having the audio problems, but this one thing here, I'm a trans woman of color, a minority within a minority. Enriquez, who is Filipino. Now, I'm sorry, but in the worldwide sense, people from that part of the world who happen to have transitioned are not all that uncommon. You're not like this rare butterfly. Maybe the fact that you're in Nevada might be, but there's like Thailand and the Philippines and all these places around there where this stuff happens all the time.
Yep.
Well, you're not some pathfinder that's never existed before.
You are the majority. You're hate to tell you that.
Well,
does anyone? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Skep. Go ahead. I was going to make a snippy comment.
But she said it was an honor just to be able to represent my community and be whatever that is, and be an example for young queer children who now know they don't need to be limited by society's standards. I'm looking at these pictures of her. She's not as attractive as the standards set by the other women in that group even.
Yeah.
She is clearly, and I say this as a man who has been a man for a long time.
The whole time.
The whole time. Yeah, I've never changed, never even thought about it. This is not she's kind of semi-attractive.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not giving, on some of these things, I would not give her more than a 7 at most. And a 7 is a nice looking woman.
I'd go 6, but yeah.
Yeah, 6 or 7, right? Exactly. I was going to say 6, and I thought that was too mean.
What the thing is like she, like a lot of people who have transitioned, she's had a lot of work done, which is something that. Well, the thing is like a lot of the pageants try to drive home to the girls, we want you as natural as possible.
Yeah.
So one, she was never going to make it if they held to that standard, and 2, there's contrary, and I'm being the only female here, I will say this: women can try this BS crap of saying, like, men say I'm faking with makeup. I don't have blue eyelids naturally. It's like, we know, honey, but I've seen girls who have a very, very round face contour themselves and having cheekbones. Do not play this crap with me. Like, the amount of makeup that is probably on that face is probably almost a half an inch thick. Because when you look at her in fluorescent light in pictures, she does not look that good. Fluorescent light is unforgiving on women, even with makeup.
Yeah, but Elwin, you got to say that in Obi-Wan's voice.
Yeah,
she's more silicone now than woman.
Wait, and the thing is, like, one of the biggest, like, on the internet anyway, Filipino trans is she owns her own makeup brand. She has a YouTube channel, Nikita Dragon. She's Filipino.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's one of the biggest ones. You're not crossing a hurdle. Nikita Dragon's been around for almost a decade. Shush, sweetheart.
Yeah.
You do nothing. You are nothing. Get the hell out of here.
People did something.
Yeah, basically.
She's Miss Nevada. The people of Nevada said, this is who we want representing us in this contest.
It's the best looking girl in the state. Right here.
I mean, it is Nevada.
I don't know. I've seen pictures. I have a feeling they're probably better looking women in Nevada. But anyway, I mean, if you went to many parts of Southern California and just walked down the street and you passed 100 women, most of them would be better looking than this person.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to.
California 4 is like a Nevada 10.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. We
It's just
continue.
the
This is
nature of the
we're in
beast.
the what's grinding my gears today block. There's a lot of it today, I'm afraid. Sorry. So let's see. Spina bifida show jumper wins landmark legal case over her wrongful conception. Please talk about this.
I'm sorry if you win that kind. If you even bring that kind of case, let alone win it, then you need to fix the situation you don't like.
Well, could you describe it a little bit, please? Says the guy with the bad audio.
Trying to figure out how to say it. I'm trying not to say a word because I'm afraid it's going to get us yeeted if I say a word.
Well, you can read the bullet
I will
points.
I will read it. Do you want me to read the bullet points and then
Just
the
read
rest?
the bullet. Just read the bullet points.
That's Evie. Evie has spina bifida and often spends up to 24 hours a day connected to tubes. She claimed her mother's GP failed to advise her on the vital supplements to take. Evie sued Dr. Philip Mitchell for wrongful conception in a landmark legal case. Judge Rosalind QC, backed Evie's case and awarded her the right to a huge compensation payout. I'm sorry, but if that's
Wait. So the daughter is suing her mother's GP.
Yep.
Because she was born with a defect.
Yep. And
She's suing the daughter's GP because he didn't adequately do his job in terms of communicating prenatal care guidelines. That's what she's asserting.
Yeah.
What evidence does she have that he was deficient in his duties?
Over the failure to advise her mother, 50, to take vital supplements before getting pregnant. That was all. Like, he didn't advise her to take supplements.
Then does she have evidence that he did not do this, or has he admitted this?
I think he's saying the outcome is the evidence. If her mom had just taken folic acid, she wouldn't have been born.
What
like
if he
this.
told her to and she disobeyed his? She was a poor patient. She didn't comply.
Well, and the thing is, taking folic acid only minimizes. It doesn't stop it. Like,
Exactly.
It's like she still could have ended up with it if her mother took enough.
Yep.
It's like, I'm sorry, if you really feel like you were wrongfully conceived, fix that. And the only way you can fix that. Otherwise, shut up.
Yeah. The judge ruled that Evie's mother had Evie's mother been provided with the correct recommended advice, she would have delayed attempts to conceive, because people are famous for that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. People holding back from having sex, man, it's a national problem.
Yep. Well, I mean, this just seems weird from a precedent standpoint. Doesn't this just sort of set a very, very bad precedent in the UK? This is not in the US. This is in the UK.
Oh, that explains everything now.
Why?
Mm-hmm. Because they're insane over there.
Well, the UK has a lot of civil law that's very different from our civil law. They have they have slander and libel laws that are actually enforceable in court. Mm-hmm. And if you get sued for slander or you get sued for libel over there, it's a big doggone deal. This is a funny case because a doctor has a duty of care to do his job effectively, and through real negligence in his job, he can really damage the people he is advising, whether it's giving them the wrong antibiotic or failing to advise them in something like this. I just, you're almost going to have to look at the course of her pregnancy, at her case, do a full case review, like by a tissue committee kind of thing, to come to a conclusion as to whether or not the doctor did what he was supposed to do And the other thing is you're going to have to do a lot of checking around to see if this was preventable, even if she had taken certain supplements, because there's a lot of stuff that can't be proved here. And usually when that happens, if you get experts in there who can't say absolutely this works this way 100% of the time, this is A led to B, led to C, led to D, I think this might actually be a pretty tough case to win.
Well, it's one of those.
Have they got an activist judge? I just wanted to get that question there. Have they got an activist judge there? I'm sorry, Functional. I stepped on you.
No, I don't know.
It doesn't say.
Well, the thing is like, one, as someone who owns horses, being a show jumper is not cheap. First off, to even get into, let alone get enough to be good to even compete in either the Olympics or the Paralympics. Secondly, the horses have to be specially trained in order to actually be able to carry her. There's some argument that they're probably push button horses and they probably do most of the work, but we're not going to go into that. This family is not poor.
Can you go back up to that picture with the nasogastric too?
Yeah.
And she is tiny in some of these pictures. Like, she is skinny.
Do we know she hasn't been assimilated?
There's a lot we don't know, Skep.
Yeah.
It also relates to like one of the great philosophical questions of, is the Hippocratic oath of do no harm, is inaction harm, or is inaction your choice as a professional? I'm personally of the camp that you as a professional have the right, the personal choice to do nothing, and that is not considered harm. But legally, like you said, Skep, like the doctor might have that, especially with a system like the NHS, might have that obligational duty to not only recommend, the folic acid or whatever she needed to be taking, but to be more aggressive in the approach and be like, check up and be like, are you taking these? Like, where is that line drawn as well?
Yeah.
I have two questions. So this woman is 20 years old. And so you're trying to tell me that 20 years ago, her mom, who has all this money, or at least, no, I won't say that, didn't know to take prenatal vitamins just from every billboard everywhere, like on the tube or wherever. That seems unlikely to me. Plus, they've been adding folic acid to foods in the U.S., like pasta, for instance. And it's found, it's fairly abundant in a lot of foods for quite a long time to prevent this sort of stuff. The whole March of Dimes thing. What?
There are these things called books.
I know, but
they have information in them.
Between the supplementation that must have been taking place and the fact that it's common knowledge that prenatal vitamins are a thing, I don't understand any of this.
Well, I'm trying to find another article that backs it up, but there is one line in one article I found that said she asked the doctor before she was pregnant. So the doctor advised her, if you get pregnant, you seem to be eating pretty healthy. I don't think you're going to have to take folic acid. This is before she was pregnant. I'm trying to find it backed up somewhere else, but that's what one article claims, that was said. So it's like, I don't know why the doctor's being held accountable. Like, this was only 21 years ago. Like, this was in early 2000. The internet existed. Did she not do her own research? Did she not read books? Did she not have friends who got pregnant who were like, oh yeah, my doctor has me taking folic acid?
Mother?
Well, admittedly,
no, her parents are dead. Her parents are dead.
Okay.
It was mostly porn at that point. But yeah, I don't know when MotZ was set up in the what?
You kind of went dead silent there for a second.
Oh, of course, because technology sucks. I don't know when MotZ was set up in the UK. Drunkle's nemesis, but yeah, I know. That guy has more hidden talent. It's amazing. But anyway, we're not going to solve this. I just wanted to throw it out and see if I have
one last thing to say.
Please.
If I see anybody who has a problem with the Texas abortion law celebrating this, I think they need to be taken out and shot.
A lot of people need to be kicked in the nuts at the very least.
But it's like, it's a groundbreaking ruling holding the healthcare professional liable. It's like, okay, so in this case, holding the healthcare professional liable is a good thing. In the other case, it's a bad thing. Y'all need to make up your damn minds.
Is she looking to get a postnatal abortion?
No.
Do it.
Well, maybe now that the
DNA
child is rich.
Everybody's happy. She has no more problems, and we don't have to listen to her.
I mean, it sucks that she was born with this condition, but it's not like her life is over.
Yeah. One of my best friends in high school had spina bifida,
And she can still
there are
walk.
things, but, you like with anything, you try to make the best of it. And
honestly, even with the thing stuck in her nose, I think she might be better looking than the woman from the previous story.
I was just going to say, maybe she should run for Miss Nevada.
Yeah.
And resistance is futile. I still think the Borg look is a solid look.
No, it's more Dune. Original.
Original Dune.
Yeah.
Right.
Still
Okay, nerds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shut up.
So I think we need, this might be another Serenity thing here.
Don't judge, Ari. Don't judge.
I was kidding.
I know.
So there's another season of The Bachelor coming up, and apparently people are pissed off. New Bachelor has fans crying foul over underdog narrative. In no way in America is a straight, cis, white male athlete an underdog.
Depends on what sport he plays.
Well, there's some committee. Well, there's some... yeah. Funny. Good one. So this guy's like a former NFL player. So, I mean, he's clearly not disadvantaged. But that's not the point. He's on The Bachelor because he's... look at this guy. He almost looks like
he's adorable.
The Chad meme thing, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's got a little bit of a bouffant going, but he's adorable.
But these people are all bent out of shape that he's not some sort of diversity hire.
His name's Eckerd. It's such a white boy name. Oh, your family has to be rich because that's the only way you end up with that name.
Not like it's a majority that skin tone country or anything.
We don't need to spend a lot of time making fun of this, but does anybody want to talk about how stupid this is briefly?
Clayton Eckerd. Oh my God, that is such a white boy name. Holy Jesus.
They're basically pissed off that he's white and successful. That's what they're complaining about. Because women don't like marrying white guys who are successful at all. That's just, why would you want that guy? He might even know how to do things. He might even know how to take care of things.
If he was trans and had spina bifida, would he be more
None of them would want him. Apparently, he only had a brief stint in the NFL, but he's a medical sales rep now.
Because of course he is.
Of course he is. But yeah, if he got injured in the NFL and that's what cut his career short, or if because if he sucked, it's not an underdog story. But if he got injured, that could be an underdog story. But yeah, Bachelor fans have no room to talk about anything.
Functional, can you read this paragraph? The one I've highlighted.
The group was at the forefront of calls for ABC to make changes to the show's format, which includes casting in 2020 with a change.org petition, because those always work so well, in favor of racial diversity, quote, both in front of the and behind the camera, end quote. In it, petitioners stated that the lack of a that word was unacceptable and called for a number of changes to combat racism in the show's future, including cast a Black Bachelor as season 25 lead. Which in itself, you're just being fucking racist. He's white. That means he can't be. It's so infuriating.
Well, the irony also is this, and I'm going to go real racist here for like 5 seconds. One, most of the guys who come on The Bachelor are either football players or former football players. Anyone who's paid attention to any sports news or even passingly knows the tendency of some people of African descent who are football players and their significant others. Some of them end up being shoved into an elevator door, so on and so forth.
Hashtag not all.
Yeah, hashtag not all, but and the only way they would be okay if it was a African American is if the entirety of all the women were African American. Because if they weren't, they'd be like, you're just trying to take away our good black men and put them with a white woman or an Asian chick or whatever. Because that's what they always cry. That's what they always get mad about.
If you could find like a young American Idris Elba, like somebody who...
Hell yeah.
Somebody like that, and you throw them out there, people would love it.
Yes.
People would love it. I don't know, but maybe there aren't enough of those guys who exist, and who aren't busy doing lots of other shit because they're kind of in demand.
Or already found their hopefully forever wife, but as of right now wife. Or are gay.
Anyway, this is dumb. I'm going to move on unless there's anything else anybody wants to say.
Go away.
I'm sorry.
This is exactly why I got rid of my TV in the late 90s, is because it started turning into all this reality TV crap that I couldn't care less about.
Okay, well, you care about this, don't you?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. COVID negative.
I think I need to take my blood pressure.
Actually, Geodes, you've been kind of quiet. Didn't you post this to the Discord?
I've been sharing a few articles on it, but yeah, I might have been me. I don't know.
Well, who was it, Serenity? You were going to say something.
Well, I posted one version. I think Geodes posted another version.
Well, you guys talk, because my mic's...
You go first, Geodes, because you haven't talked much.
Sure. So the long story short is in one of the COVID quarantine camps that they have in Australia, concentration camp, whatever you want to call it at this point, in the Australian regime, they had 3 Aboriginal teenagers escape the camp and go on the run, and it caused quite a hubbub, including locking down entire streets with barricades and all kinds of other crap stops to try and make sure like they weren't
trunks.
Yep.
Their cars.
Yep. It was it was pretty exciting insofar as you'd hope that these people got away, and unfortunately they didn't. Long story short, so
nope.
The kicker is they were just recently tested, found to be negative. Mm-hmm. And they still freaked out on this level of authoritarianism. It is.
Did they execute them when they caught them as enemies of the state, or did they?
As far as we know, they didn't.
Okay, so we don't really know for sure.
This would be like in that movie where Ferris Bueller and his friends play hooky, and then a SWAT team goes down and shoots them dead. It's that level. It's that level of overreaction.
It's actually funny because
Bueller gets turned off.
Ferris Bueller gets terminated.
Well, this was actually there was actually a movie I remember watching. Our progressive teachers forced us to watch in high school.
Schindler's List?
No, but it was one. It was actually specifically related to Australia back in like the 1800s. It was like 3 young sisters who all were trying to run away from this school that was trying to educate them to be able to be integrated into white society over time. And they all ran away, and 2 of them made it back to their home. One of them didn't.
The one they went by boat.
Maybe.
Yeah, because the school was actually on an island just off the coast of Australia. I mean, just one of these like harbor islands, and it was on the north side up by Darwin. I know the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but it just reminded me of that, kind of seeing all these articles, just kind of hearing the situation. I'm just like, holy shit.
I apologize for the strong words I'm using, but I really don't see it as any different as what's happened in the past, not just there, but in other countries.
Yeah.
Both in history and currently China.
Yeah, it's more in relation to the fact that it was just a reminder, because in that case, it was also 3 Aboriginal people. In this case, it was 3 young girls. And in this case, it's 3 teenagers. I'm assuming are all guys. I have no idea. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, the thing is that one, there was another person who escaped. At least the last time I checked, they haven't found him yet. 2, this is the Northern Territory of Australia. You want to know the population of the Northern Territory of Australia as of March 2021?
0.
Almost. 247,000 people. Mm-hmm. Over a million plus, 1.4 million kilometer sized territory.
Mm-hmm.
That's four Texases, by the way.
Yeah, like I need people to understand, like they don't need like just learn from all the other movies, guys. Run for the bush. Don't have to find you.
They're just literally rounding up people at this point. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, didn't they also show that this camp had barbed wire on it?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. There were people who took photos
to keep the attack kangaroos out.
There were people on the pro side. I don't know if you saw that story about, like the concentration camp Barbie or whatever the hell they called her. This really good-looking young girl who's like, no, these things are great. They're trying to protect us and blah 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 blah. And then people went and they took photos and the pictures of the barbed wire, stories like this. If it's so great, why are people trying to escape?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Jack is making the point they are concentration camps. And so I have this ready. Oh, shut up, Wikipedia. I gave $25 to the Internet Archive. That's my donation for this kind of stuff for the years, so stop bugging me. So they have this, so they talk about internment. Internment is the imprisonment of people commonly in large groups without charges or intent to file charges. The term is especially used for the confinement of enemy citizens in wartime or of terrorism suspects. Thus, while it can simply mean imprisonment, it tends to refer to preventive confinement rather than confinement after they've been convicted of some crime. That definition
kind of similar to
it kind of fits
to a T.
Yeah. Interned persons may be held in prisons or in facilities known as internment camps, also known as concentration camps.
That quacks like a duck.
Politically, it's sensitive because there's a certain lobby that doesn't like it when you dilute their oppression cred.
Yeah. And can I just say, if that picture is literally from them looking for these kids, for something that's supposedly so deadly, none of them are wearing masks. If they believe in the crap they're selling. Like, none of those cops are wearing masks. No one's wearing gloves.
That's a really great point. Does anybody else get the feeling that Australia has just pushed this thing too far down the road, and now they're so invested in treating this thing like it's Ebola that they can't stop themselves?
Well, did anybody see the Dark
Horse? So.
Did anybody listen to the Dark Horse podcast recently? I guess it was Brett Weinstein interviewed, I can't remember her name, Pizzamenti, who actually is so allergic to one of the compounds in the vaccine that when she's had it before, she goes into anaphylactic shock and has to be put in the hospital. Like, she goes nearly into a coma. She's horribly allergic. And according to the wording of the law, she should get an exemption. That's what the exemption's for.
Is the link in the private chat to that? Because if it is, I can just share it.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll go ahead and copy.
The same thing happened with, anybody familiar with The Offspring, the band?
Yeah.
So the drummer, who has Guillain-Barré, cannot take the jab. The drummer of this band, who's been with the band for the last just over a decade now,
he had to quit.
Tossed to they fired him. They tossed him to the side like yesterday's news.
That's what it was. Yeah,
because they were intent and very strict on their rules to follow the rules of these venues. And I think Tim Poole said it the best the other day, where he's like, you know what? If I'm with someone for that long, like, I don't care if it's you. He points to his cast, like you. We will find other venues. We will find a way to work around this. I'm not just going to throw you to the side. And if we go to a smaller area that only has the one venue and they're very strict and blah, 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 you know what? For that one show, he'll go find a drummer to replace him for that one show. But he's not just going to throw somebody who's supposed to be a colleague, a partner, a friend, just to the wayside just because of one stupid thing. It's the media surrounding this and the overreaction of some countries and some regions in some countries is just fueling that fire of, again, I hate to bring it back to the historical baddies that have happened, but that's exactly what happened before. These people are unclean. These people are dangerous. These people are going to kill your family because they have some unseen dirt within their being.
Papers, please.
Okay. All right. Taking this back up to the 10,000 foot level again. What you have is a situation that is ambiguous, that can be argued in more than one way with respect to the seriousness of COVID and the relative protection afforded by vaccination. How do we, as societies, as cultures, how should we best parse this information to arrive at a rational way to proceed forward, or can that even be done? What's the key to that?
I don't think that
pretty good question, isn't it?
It is, but that's the problem with really good questions. I don't think anybody really, because there's the hyper.
I just put it out there for discussion.
Yeah.
What are the problems? We can't even articulate. We can't even agree about how serious this is, or even what double-blind, fully controlled studies should be paid attention to. We're so narrative-driven in this. We need to not be narrative-driven. I hate to say this, but COVID, believe it or not, is not really that serious.
Oh yeah, I know.
My point is that if we had a serious problem where we had to do things that made the difference whether or not large numbers of people lived or died, the COVID phobes, the covophobes, are acting like that's the way this is. Like COVID, is killing 25 or 30% of the people who have it. And it has some kind of Ebola-like death toll.
Like airborne Ebola, basically.
Right. Yeah, airborne Ebola.
Airborne Ebola.
We wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd all be basically shitting ourselves in fear.
Well, and my thing is it's really, I don't know what's in the water in Australia and New Zealand. Even the New Zealand Prime Minister, she's terrifying because she actually made the joke the other day, you can now go to the bathroom at your friend's house. It's what?
I don't think that's a joke, though. Not with the.
I know. Well, that's the thing. She tried.
Jacinda Ardern is an evil fucking.
And she's got crazy eyes too.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
She tries to play it. She tried to play it off as a joke, and I'm just sitting there going, "That's not even close to being funny," but okay. But it's this whole thing of I really do feel like most of because the thing all Aussies always say is that we're descended from the prisoners. It's I think most of the prisoners got killed off, and it's mostly your wardens who survived, because holy crap.
Yeah, it's a frothy mix. But and then Germany said, "Hold my beer."
Germany repeating itself. What a concept. Oh, I'm shocked. Wait, no, I'm not.
Actually, I don't think the German thing is as draconian as the Australian thing. The Australians win the prize. The Pizzamenti thing, the Dark Horse, her doctor would not write a note, even knowing her history, because of liability issues. So she was referred to. Sorry?
I was going to ask what shots are compulsory in Germany, as to whether or not they're Are they shooting people now?
Give them time.
I think that's obligatory, but yeah.
Oh my god.
They brought a whole bunch of fascy people in when they merged with Eastern Germany.
I know.
They brought a lot of fashy people in when they became the EU. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
No, but there's all these Stasi assholes and former Stasi assholes floating around in the government, and it's like, oh, this is fine, Yeah. Well, anyway,
you can only meet two people from another household. Bars and nightclubs shut down in areas with incidence rate of 350 per 100,000 case over 1 week. That's okay. What?
Yeah.
Honey.
Well, this is dumb, but it's just I'm just throwing this out there. I'm going to move on to the next thing, which because I'm frankly tired of COVID and I want to get through this part.
Yes, very true. But I just like the whole of 350 cases over per 100,000 over 1 week.
everybody's all up in arms about Omicron, right? But according to the WHO, now maybe this has changed since I put the plan together.
Let's have a looky, Lou.
They have no deaths. No deaths attributed to this thing at all.
As of 9 hours ago, still no deaths.
Imagine my shock.
Now, we're not saying that.
Let's not give up hope.
We're not saying that this is that nobody's going to die from this thing. We're not saying that. But what we do know is based on this research here, it looks like this thing's perfectly capable of reinfecting people who have had the virus before. Doesn't say anything about vaccinations, but people who've already had it, some form of it. Which could be why it's infecting so many people, because it's breaking through people who have natural immunity. But now, we're still not seeing a lot of deaths, which, kind of makes us hopeful. So I have this little bit here. I was listening to Fauci because, you're doing stuff. You've got wireless headphones in, your phone's on the other side of the house, and YouTube just starts auto-playing some random crap, because your video's done. And next thing you know, I've got Fauci talking in my ears. I didn't do this to myself on purpose. It just happened.
Lunge for the computer and go, no!
And I had cooking stuff on my hands, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta listen to this guy. So, because I don't even want to touch my earbuds because I'm cooking it. I got chicken juice on my hands. So I'm like, God damn it, I have to listen to this crap. And this is what he actually said.
Did he say I'm the science again?
No, listen to this and just listen carefully, because this is not what he should have said.
Here.
This proves more transmissible but less virulent than Delta. Would there be any public health benefit to furthering its spread by lifting travel restrictions, for example, so it can outcompete the Delta variant?
You're talking about something really dangerous. You're talking about let a lot of people get infected to see if, in fact, you could protect them. That's something that I think almost all infectious disease people with any knowledge about infectious disease would not say that's a good idea.
Wrong.
Okay.
Wrong, motherfucker, wrong.
Now, the correct answer here is, well, we could hope that something like that might work, but we don't know enough yet to know if it's a good idea. He went straight to, oh, no. The top people know that this is just unthinkable. The idea that you could possibly end this thing through means that don't involve us is just something we can't even conceive of.
I don't normally believe in phrenology, but just the shape of his head, the tiny, beady, close together eyes, the smug look, the deformed back cranial ridge. I don't try. No, he's evil.
Well, okay. So from what I've been able to find out, as of right now, the Omicron variant has been detected in at least 16 states. All the states are not even reporting. They're not. Where was it? None of the Omicron cases reported so far in the United States have resulted in serious illness, hospitalization, or death. And the first person who brought it to America was a vaccinated person. But yeah, so far it's reached 16 states. They've gotten some people who are in their 60s who have tested positive, but are still not even showing any. They're mildly symptomatic. Most of them, that's what it's showing. Specifically, the one in California. Alameda County health officials confirmed 5 new cases of the Omicron variant that were mildly symptomatic. And that's it. That's all anybody has right now is mildly symptomatic.
But I don't understand why the idea of this thing burning itself out naturally is so anathema to Fauci.
Because he loses his paycheck.
Money.
Well, we don't have to listen to him anymore. He can just go retire and go take whatever job he's going to take from Merck or Pfizer or whatever. Well, when he leaves government and gets his payoff. And I'm assuming that's going to happen.
It's most likely money because he's one of the highest paid governmental officials right now. And
that's
power.
Nothing compared to what he'll make when he leaves government.
Oh, I know, but this
fame,
is an easier
all cameras,
job.
all microphones are on him.
He's making just shy of $500K.
Yeah. But the thing is, this job doesn't require him to do much. He just has to go out there and go, no, you don't understand. This is too dangerous. You don't understand.
Well, he's got to sit in meetings where they're like, okay, so Dr. Fauci, we've got this great idea. We're going to sever dogs' vocal cords, put their heads in boxes, and let insects eat them alive. I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
How much do you need?
Well, I mean, Elwin does make the point that he's been this way since AIDS. Because he said, like, what was it, like 50% of the world was supposed to be infected with AIDS by 80s?
Oh, yeah, that you could get shit on toilet seats. Like,
yeah.
He has a long history of saying dumb things.
Yeah, but, like, it's one of those...
Also AIDS was going to be airborne or something? But yeah, exactly. I am the science!
But it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it seems more and more and more and more and more people are just not listening to his ass. Because they're just not listening to him, because it's like, dude, we can't do this forever. And we're not Europe or Australia.
I'm just waiting for his AIDS to turn on him.
Well, if we didn't have these mRNA vaccines, we'd be looking at something like this as a valuable idea, because we wouldn't have a whole lot of other tools.
Well, I mean,
we would want something like this. It takes too long to vaccinate all the people in the world. Something like this could potentially be a godsend.
Well, like,
but we don't know yet. We don't know. I'm hoping. I mean, but the point is, why can't I be hopeful? He's thinking that if anybody gets hope, that we'll stop listening to him. And it's like, well, good. Late. Congratulations. Your job is done. Most people didn't die. Move on. Go retire.
I grew up in the age of chickenpox parties.
Yeah.
When they would find out one kid had chickenpox, they'd shove you all in a room and go play.
You don't want to get that shit when you're older?
I know you don't want to.
I got it when I was in my mid-teens. Oh,
God, I had it I had it twice. I had it once when I was a baby and once when I was 6. So yeah, not fun.
But I mean, that's what a good, quote air quotes here, good virus will do. Is it will change to be less fatal, so that it can propagate more, and just like influenza. Just like chickenpox.
I'm not sure that's proven. I'm not sure that we can say that that's like a natural law, but there seem to be a lot of...
No, it's not a law.
There's a lot of smart people who are saying that. But
it's philosophically sound in that, what does an organism want? They want to be able to thrive and multiply and everything. And if something in the case of a virus is killing off all the hosts, there's going to be a point where it kills off all its hosts and then it itself dies. So I'm just using the term good philosophically in that, typically, again, looking at influenza, it's been around for ages, but
it's really a rate problem. How fast does it kill the host? If it kills them slowly enough, it actually can continue on and be a successful virus.
Or if it spreads before it kills them, it doesn't matter.
If it kills them too fast, it won't spread enough, and it runs out of places to spread to, and goes dormant.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like philosophically, that's what makes a good organism. So I mean, hopefully, it just.
Well, I'm not sure this next thing is a palate cleanser so much as I just found it to be kind of funny.
I want some Oreo cake now.
Apparently, some guy slipped and fell on a World War II munition and got it stuck up his rectum.
Mm-hmm. What?
Hospital staff in Britain acted swiftly after a man arrived at their emergency ward with a World War II era munition in his rectum. Rectum damn near killed him. Police and army experts were called in, but medics had removed the object safely before they arrived. Police in Gloucestershire, Western England, said. Police attended Gloucestershire Royal Hospital on Wednesday morning, December 1st, after a report that a patient had presented with a munition in his rectum. The item had been removed. Oh, this is repetitive. This is stupid. Why are we doing it this way? Okay. Wow, this is terrible. We can confirm
57 millimeter.
An Army explosive ordnance disposal team was called out. Yeah. He said the unnamed patient told doctors he slipped and fell on the device. This happens all the time. These guys slip and fall on shampoo bottles and toilet brushes and light bulbs and all sorts of things.
Gerbils.
Yeah.
Small farm animals.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes they fall forward and a USB cable goes up the other direction, so yeah, it's
yeah.
Well, Gio, when you're in the dark and you're just grasping around to plug in your phone, like it's a common mistake.
My zipper got caught in my keyboard, Mom. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would like to read the thing that was shared with me that I shared with some view that I could share with the audience, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Point of view. You're a bomb expert who has put your heart and soul into becoming one of the guys from Hurt Locker. You trained for years, and you get called for your first assignment.
It's too bad Sora's not here right now. All right.
Hang on, Harry. I want just to get something to as a show and tell.
Okay.
Hang on one.
Do you have a picture of said munition?
It's coming to you right now.
That's what the cannon shell said.
To there, and go back to share and share the screen, and eventually get this like that.
I mean, he felt just right.
There you go. That is.
Yep.
That is a 57. Just so you know what one looks like.
Woo! My understanding is it was just the.
It was
the bullet part. It was not the casing.
not the brass. Yeah,
the brass casing. Thank you. Yeah.
Measuring 17 centimeters by 6 centimeters was a chunky pointed lump of lead designed to rip through a tank's armor.
Oh, that's this munition. I promise you, that's this one.
Yeah. Well, people need to take these bathroom slip hazards more seriously. That's all I'm saying.
And I just that woman right there, that service woman doing her duty. I don't. Just speaking to the guy from the UK who accidentally fell on this thing. She never had the idea to accidentally fall on one of those. You sick son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he probably grew up playing squat tag in the asparagus patch. Anyway, let's see.
I'm not against your proclivities. You do you, boo, in your own bedroom, what have you. I don't care. Just, do it safe and go to the damn sex shop and get a proper toy.
That's right. Keep it clean,
handles
folks.
and cucumbers and munitions.
Mm-hmm.
So this is interesting. Former Virginia police officer fired for donating to Kyle Rittenhouse Defense Fund wants his job back. I think he should get his job back with back pay.
Oh, I think he's going to demand his job back. They're going to refuse, and he's going to end up
sue.
Yeah, and he's going to end up with a whole bunch of. He just retired, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And I mean, if
he's going to get a lot of money.
And if he still wanted his job, there are other places. I always get the colors mixed up. More red states who are hiring police officers from blue states because they were dismissed for whatever reasons because of all this defunding and all that.
Yep.
Oh man, chat's enjoying the previous thing. Well, so he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, he has a legal right to be able to do this. It's well within his rights to support somebody if he wants to. He's been proven by a court of his peers to be innocent, found to have acted in self-defense. What possible grounds do they have for not giving him his job back, except that he'll make the other people who he works with feel unsafe or some other horse shit? He's going to get a lovely parting gift.
And just from the start of this, what is it anybody's bloody business what this guy does with his money? As long as he's not obviously like funding terrorism or some other objectively, who
Well, let me explain it to you, and this is absolutely serious. This is the way that faction thinks about this stuff. If somebody does something in their personal life, makes any decision, does anything at all that has visibility outside of their life, and in any way steps on some value that you hold to be sacred, that's a repoint for these people.
Oh, totally. Yeah. That's I understood that. That's who I'm speaking to. Like, who the hell are you to tell anybody? Like, it's maddening, especially considering that this happened before the trial even happened, before any verdict of guilt. This is the mob mentality. This is cancel culture.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff that we've been against and talking about for quite a while now, and it's no less sickening today than it was when it started. At least in the media and on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say anything in the article about what's happening? Like, is he retiring? Is he just trying to get his job back?
Or he just wants his job back. So
Yeah.
he says.
And that may be true.
If he has kids and a bunch of other stuff, he probably doesn't want to move. So, you know.
Yeah, some people
And he's
like
got
the
his
states
own-
that they live in. I don't particularly want to leave California anyway, although they make it less attractive every day.
And he's got his. Oh no! It was through Give Send Go that he was. Yeah, because he got taken off of what's the popular one? Crowdfunding.
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, the Rittenhouse fund was taken off of GoFundMe.
Well, anyway, going into the what is this called? The Government We Deserve block.
Oh boy.
I wonder if GoFundMe could get sued.
Did you
Rittenhouse.
So did you follow this one, Skep?
Which one? Biden tell. Oh yes, about the. I sat there and watched him say that, and I thought to myself, 1967. That was years before he was even elected to Congress. It was before he was a representative. Turns out, I think he was in law school in 67. He may have been in law school. Let me see when Biden was in law school.
Yeah, he
Been
wasn't.
right
He
after.
wasn't in political office at the time, and I think it was. It was the 6-Day War was too early for him. He was maybe Biden appears to be confusing the 6-Day War with a meeting he had with her just prior to the October 1973 Yom Kippur War. So.
Yeah, he was class of 1968 at Syracuse University. I'm looking at it right here.
It's just that he's real fuzzy on the details, and he's just in a bad state of decline, it seems to me.
Yeah, this in combination with everything else that we see him fumbling with words and not the other things, like we've all seen it. It does add up to a bigger picture by itself. Yeah, okay, fine. This
people
by itself, yeah,
misspeak.
okay. People, yeah, all the time. But I mean, with just the mounting pile of all this stuff, one after another, it's not a good look for you guys.
No.
Well, not for you guys. I mean, for your government. You guys aren't your government.
You'd think we could do better than the 75th or 76th out of 85 law school graduates. He was ranked 76th. You would think for President of the United States we could do better. And before you send, Mom and Dad, before you send your kids to law school, before you urge them to become lawyers, who was the last president to have had a law degree prior to Biden?
Was it Barry?
No, it was William Howard Taft.
Wow.
That's
Barry
how
was
back,
a lawyer.
that's how far back you have to go.
That's a long time.
Yep.
Wasn't Taft the one that got really fat and got stuck in the bathtub?
That was Elvis.
Yeah. He was Taft was the fattest. Yeah, actually though, Obama, I just realized I would have to admit, before Obama, the last president to have a law degree was Taft, because Obama certainly did have a law degree.
Well, it just keeps getting better.
Anyway.
De Blasio opens first legal shooting galleries for drug users in the U.S. And Skep, before you ask, this is not that kind of shooting gallery like at the arcade on the boardwalk. This is where they get to shoot up.
Oh, okay.
Because I
It's like the
anticipated your
Panic and
next
Needle
question.
Park.
Yeah. With just 4 weeks left in office, Mayor Bill de Blasio launched the country's first legal shooting galleries. Weird name. Tuesday morning, calling them safe havens for addicts, shortly before 5 people overdosed at just one of the clinics on opening day. Overdose prevention centers are a safe and effective way to address the opioid crisis. I'm proud to show cities in this country that after decades of failure, a smarter approach is possible. Because this is going to totally help the homeless situation.
I think children should be taken down there so they can learn good needle habits. If they choose to, participate in that culture, and they may, and they should be urged to if they want to, because anything they want to do is automatically a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Am I the only one here that thinks these needle exchange programs and may seem like a good idea, but are probably a really terrible idea long term?
Long term, definitely. Yeah.
These are
putting a Band-Aid over
them. They're a superior short term thing.
Yeah.
But you're doing it to try and take pressure off of areas that are just wrecks. Basically, you're trying to get all the bad stuff to happen in one place. And that works for a little while. It does seem to work for a little while.
Yeah, because as I was going to say,
the story about what they did in Zurich, for example, and also in Geneva, the two cities in Switzerland, they did this, and it was very effective in essentially shut down crime like by a third in both cities.
So I'm responding to Pete here. Pete's saying, he used to have an addiction problem, and the shooting galleries might be a good thing, and if they're done right. I think that fentanyl might change the calculus unambiguously.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe back when, well, because the Russian roulette, it's no longer like one bullet in the chamber, with six possible. Now it's more like 5 out of 6.
Right.
The likelihood that somebody's going to die shooting up using street drugs just became a lot higher. If we're talking about like methadone clinics or something, I mean, again, I'm not an expert on this, so if I'm saying stupid shit, I apologize. But from my layperson's perspective, if you're trying to help get people off of the drugs with some kind of substitute, hell, low dose psychedelics, MDMA, whatever shit works, follow the science, fine. I don't care. I'm not an expert. But if you're trying to help get people off of it, it's fine. But enabling people to shoot up when there's all this fentanyl lacing all the drugs seems like it might, like I said, tip the scale toward maybe this isn't a good idea, even if it was before.
Actually, that's actually a good. I mean, I hate to use the word good, but it's actually a productive idea, because I've done a lot of research on these types of things, and I'm still by no means an expert. I've just read a lot of stuff. So one thing is they want to remove basically people just rotting in their apartment buildings next to families and normal people. That's so they're removing that dangerous element of the ODing person just sort of rotting somewhere, and that's a big problem in these concentrated pockets in these urban centers. The other thing too, to your point, Harry, about if somebody were to be caught with, say, fentanyl, and they have the opportunity to run that up the ladder, trace where the drugs came from, a lot sooner than, oh, well, here's just another dead body, post-mortem, 3 days, This one, oh, well, he just died, or we just saved him from dying from this overdose. Now, where did he get the drugs? How can we get, and then the law enforcement, police, can create this web of where these drugs are coming from, who's got them. Then they start working up their way up the ladder to try to find the trap houses and the distribution nodes and the players involved. And that's how they shut down these big operations, because that's what fentanyl today is. It's a big operation, and they are fighting a losing battle trying to track this stuff down, because, like you alluded to, it's very hard to differentiate in the chain of custody. Oh, is this, sweet China, or is this dangerous sour fentanyl kind of thing? Very short term, it's great. It's shown great results, not only for those aspects, but for getting some of these people the help that they desperately need, because otherwise they wouldn't be going to a doctor, or there'd be some sort of stigma in going to a doctor and saying, hey, look, I'm addicted to these drugs and I keep shooting. I need help. A lot of doctors will just turn them away and just be like, I don't really want to get involved with this because it is very serious legal issues behind it. So with these injection sites, they can come in and they can say, yes, I need a safe place to shoot up. I need a clean needle, but you know what? I want to get clean. I need to get this under control because I'm living out on the streets. Things are, and they can have the resources to get these people off the streets. Now, on the negative sides, what it does is it fosters people to look at this and say, well, you know what? I could do more drugs. I could save some money on needles. I can abuse the system and just, one day I can just start chopping drugs to some of these users and infiltrate my way into these programs, these group programs that they have on site to help people get off. And I will be a predatory, basically drug dealer and just try to fund my own habit. And that happens when things are drawn out too long, because the people who aren't targeted by the initiation of this program will look at it and see, oh, well, this is an easier way to do things.
Well, if it's an underground economy you're talking about, and you almost end up having to have one. But let's step back a little bit and look at the broader context. Originally, it was HIV that pushed a lot of this stuff in the direction of, we don't want people reusing needles because they're spreading HIV, and these people have got enough problems without having to deal with having AIDS, and being treated for that. That's not going to work. But we have problems with they're affecting other people's lives, these people that are genuinely homeless. We're not talking about people shooting up at home. We're talking about homeless people. If you had a home, you'd shoot up there, right? I mean, unless I'm missing something. So we're not doing anything to fix the homeless problem. We maybe are helping with the stray needles all over the streets problem, but it's not doing anything to help those people. Maybe the safety argument, maybe it is safer to have the center, but we're not doing anything to actually really fix the basic problems in their lives with this sort of center. And I think normalizing or destigmatizing drug use at a time when it's so much more dangerous than it ever has been might not be the right approach. How's the popping, by the way? Is my audio any better, or is it still terrible?
It's very noticeable.
God damn it! Okay. I'm going to stop talking then.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it with you, Harry.
We're break this beast.
Shall we move on to the next thing?
Destigmatize, I think we're talking about two different things. I'm talking about the stigma of addiction is criminally wrong and you're a bad person for being an addict. Whereas what I'm talking about is the stigma of, or what I think you were talking about is the stigma of drug use, overuse, etc., is wrong. And that's something I don't want to destigmatize. I want people to be like, no, you should get clean. And I think in a lot of cases, they don't really have anyone to turn to because they are homeless. And, a lot of people, like I'm sure, present company included, would normally just walk past some of these people in the streets if you lived in a big city. And, it's a sad fact of reality. But you are right. It is a double-edged sword, and it has to be carefully done.
In my experience,
you can't just say, do drugs, free and easy.
Well, go ahead, Geodes.
I was going to say, in my experience also, and granted, my schooling was different because towards the last few years, I was at charter school. That was very left-leaning, but they actively encourage people to do drugs. And I grew up with people my age who their mothers would talk with my parents and say, oh yeah, no, we know how to get good drugs for our kids if they ever ask for them later. So this is an active problem in our culture, a big problem. So yeah.
Again, yes and no. It's a double-edged sword because my mother did the same thing. She said, I'd rather you not do them at all. But if you're gonna smoke weed or do ecstasy or whatever, I'd rather that you can be here safe, and I'm not gonna rat you out to the cops. I'm not gonna do anything to you or ground you or whatever. But I'd rather you have a safe haven to do that. And yeah, so me and my friends, we would do something and go out to a club and party away and then come back to my house because it wasn't just my mother's, some of my friends' parents as well would be more receptive to it and be like, not preachy about it, but also say, you don't have to be afraid to come to me or one of the other parents if you feel you have a problem. And one of our friends, Brian, did have a problem, and we got him help because us being stupid teenagers, we didn't know what the difference really was between somebody who's just having a really good time or having a bender of a weekend versus somebody who legitimately has a strong drug dependency, and we need to try to get him that help. And luckily we did that, and he did get his help. And so,
but is this something the government should be doing? If you had a private charity running one of these places with the government giving it their blessing, that might be one thing.
Again,
the government enabling illegal, self-destructive behavior. To me, you need a really, really good reason to justify this, and I'm not seeing the case being quite strong enough.
And if
there are better ways. There certainly are better ways.
Go ahead.
If you're going to do the overdose prevention centers, just make all drugs legal.
Exactly.
Just say fuck it. Just do that. Then these people can get the help they need. I'm using this as a way to get myself reelected bullshit. That's what this is.
He's not running again, is he? He's not running. He's gone.
I know, but someone, it's weird. Like, just do it. Was it Seattle or Portland who made all drugs legal?
Oh, all drugs.
I think it was one of the ones over on the West Coast. It's like they made all drugs legal. Just do that. Stop with the overdose prevention center bowl. Like, still have them, I guess. But
it doesn't even have to be legal.
Well, I know Portugal, the entire country did it.
Decriminalized.
Yeah, decriminalized.
Felonies. These are felony level crimes, quote unquote, that we really shouldn't be treating like crimes. We should be treating them, and I'm talking about any forward-thinking nation, as health problems and as, let's use the word, epidemics, because right now in North America, especially in pockets of the United States, these opioid addictions are running rampant, and these little band-aids on a battleship, they're not going to do anything long.
Yeah, and Gamer of Lane said it's Portland, and I believe
it sounds about right.
But Portland sounds. But that's the thing. Like, why do that? Just decriminalize it. Like, exactly. Why? Like, what is?
That's why I really like the Republican initiative to decriminalize on the federal level marijuana. It's a start.
Yeah, and it's just like,
at least it's going to clean up some of the system.
It to me, this is tinfoil hat, maybe in a jackass kind of thing. This sounds like they're just trying to move all the bad type of druggies, because we all know, especially new elites in any world, any country, any city, whatever. Mm-hmm. There's the bad druggies who are the poor, and then there's the good druggies who are the rich. They just want to move the bad ones down away from them, because this is West 180th Street and East 126th Street, or like the two of them that are open, I think. And they're like in East Harlem and stuff like that. Like, they just want to move them. Like, they want to get them out of the sight. Like, this is them trying to fix like Times Square.
Gentrification.
Not so much that, it's just like, De Blasio knows he fucked up. So it's like he's now trying to do what Giuliani did with Times Square when he took over, like clean it up, get the hookers out, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can see
like, that's what this feels like. It just feels like he may not be getting elected, but he still wants to go down as someone in the history books as a good person. No, but that's what this feels like. It just feels like it's the Band-Aid. That's it. Like, just grow a set, just decriminalize, just go for it. And thank you, Gamer Valine, for telling me that.
So I did a quick check, and 2 to 3 milligrams of fentanyl can kill somebody.
Yeah, you're dead.
Now, if you were to look at not VX but sarin, the amount of sarin it takes to kill somebody is not that much less than fentanyl. Fentanyl is an incredibly dangerous compound, not just a drug. There's no way in hell you're going to convince me to decriminalize fentanyl
Yeah.
Because just as a substance, it is too dangerous to be unregulated.
Decriminalize stuff like LSD and PCP and marijuana and that kind of stuff that it's very hard. Like, people accidentally overdose on fentanyl all the freaking time. And a lot of people accidentally die overdose from it. But the other stuff is a lot harder.
Not to mention that's laced in more drugs now, too.
Yeah, that's the other problem.
I don't believe that at all.
I
don't believe the stories that people are like lacing pot and meth or whatever with fentanyl because
they've literally caught that in the substance that they
we do need statistics though.
No. There's a difference between lacing a drug, which is the intent of changing the experience to like elevate it or change it in some way, and then there's trying to poison somebody.
No, Functional's right. We should be skeptical about that because we don't.
I
really
don't
have
think
figures
drug dealers
on
are
how
going
often
around
happens.
saying, "I'm going to buy all this expensive fentanyl to lace my drugs to kill my customers, my source of income." That doesn't make sense.
No, it's not.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's not the drug dealers. It's the sellers, the big bulk sellers who are doing it. At least that's the rumor.
I don't believe it. I
understand. I don't understand the motivation either, but we're going to end up coming back to it because there's plenty of it floating around.
And Harry, just to your point, like I can create mustard gas with the chemicals in my kitchen. Yep. Should we outlaw those?
Yeah. Well, depends. Mustard gas is an irritant. There are lots of irritants.
I see. This is where my libertarian comes out in me. I don't think that any of these things should be illegal because it's not the unless it's something that like a virus, like a Ebola culture samples or something that can run away from you and act on its own volition to do what it does. These chemicals, these things, guns, knives, whatever, they are simple implements that it takes. Sorry. For the fire truck
coming to get you.
They're coming to get me because I'm speaking them truths that take action from a human being to enact on somebody else. That in itself is the crime, is the legality of it. I don't think these objects onto themselves should be illegal, but that's just my personal.
No, I'm just saying that if something is considered so dangerous that by international treaty countries are not allowed to have it because it's too dangerous to human life. The chemical agents, something that just requires twice as much is just already there.
And that's why I'm with something like fentanyl, with something like sarin gas or nuclear weapons. Yeah, there's got to be these lines of some level.
The amount of fentanyl that it takes to kill you is not very high.
Yeah.
Usually, you're looking at stuff in hundreds of milligrams per kilogram to nuke somebody. Fentanyl is 9.3 milligrams per kilogram.
But what if I
that's the LD50.
What if I were to take a gram of powdered fentanyl and blow it out of my hand off my balcony? Would that then kill somebody?
You said 9.3 milligrams per kilogram. Are you sure milligrams is the unit? That sounds.
Oh, I said milligrams. I meant micrograms.
Exactly.
Micrograms per kilogram.
So that's why the whole body dose is like 2 to 3 milligrams.
Yes, exactly. I'm so sorry about that. I was wrong by a factor.
That's okay. I'm trying not to talk about anti-acetylcholinesterases at this point. So,
like, if I were to do the same thing with sarin, Harry, and just like throw some off my balcony, I would kill a bunch of people.
Yep. So you do the same thing with fentanyl. Yeah.
Well, I don't think you could you?
Yes.
I'm not an expert in fentanyl. It's
literally, you could get this on somebody's skin just like a nerve agent, and it would kill them in a different manner.
Well, then shit, I'm all aboard the let's illegalize.
We don't want people going to the store and buying a kilogram of fentanyl. Is all I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm as libertarian as the next guy up to a point.
Listen, if you wanted to kill somebody, all you would have to do is buy a little bit of DMSO, soak the paintbrush in DMSO.
Well, we don't want to give a how-to guide to people.
Well, I'm just or soak the paintbrush in something that causes instantaneous cell permeability, and sprinkle the fentanyl on a paintbrush, and just tap it on somebody's elbow as you pass them. They will be dead in a half an hour.
Drive this into somebody's brainstem.
Yeah. But just saying there are some things that probably need a little bit of regulation, but we're getting off into the weeds.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what our personal limits of libertarianism are.
This is deadly.
It is. But your skepticism, I think, is well founded. Actually, functional. We really don't know how common the fentanyl lacing is. All right, so Dr. Oz is running to be a senator from Pennsylvania.
No.
Please discuss. Serenity, it sounds like you want to talk about this.
This is funny as fuck. Like, I hate the fact he's running as a Republican because this is going to give Republicans a bad name. Not that they need any more of one, but god dang it, this is funny as fuck.
The guy's always struck me as being a bit of a charlatan, a very P.T. Barnum kind of guy and not sort of a real doctor.
He can be. Sometimes he does hit it lucky and give actual somewhat semblance of good advice. So I'm not going to be too much of an asshole to him, but it's just, I can't remember whose district he's trying to run for. Because it's someone he doesn't like.
Well, I mean, Dr. Oz is, he's a showman, and he's trying to give people what they want.
Oh, yeah.
And he's done a reasonable job doing science communication. Again, sorry for the audio, everybody. I have this fancy doctor that I go to occasionally, and, he's all about, high prices, high service. He wants his customers to leave there satisfied. And so in the lobby, they've got something, I remember seeing it like as seen on Dr. Oz. He had some sort of thing that tied into some Dr. Oz thing, because that's what his well-heeled Palo Alto patrons expected of him. And I just kind of shook my head, and it's like, I know he's doing it just to make his patients happy and stuff, but all that Dr. Oz stuff just seems like Deepak Chopra quantum bullshit to me, or at least a large percentage of it. But every now and then he can't help but be right, because I mean, a lot of things about medicine are pretty obvious.
So he's trying to take the seat of Sean Parnell, who was a Trump-endorsed candidate, but he suspended the campaign after a judge gave primary custody of his children to his estranged wife, who had accused him of abuse. So he's removed himself from the race entirely. I'm trying to find who he's running against, but I don't even think they've announced yet. Yeah. There's another Republican that's senator in Pennsylvania that's not seeking re-election. Yeah, this article's the New York Times is flat out refusing to name any of the Democrat ones.
But why would TV Doctor be a good senator? Why?
Because
he would be the first Muslim to serve in the U.S. Senate.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he is.
Okay. This just, I don't know. I'm just tired of celebrities doing this kind of nonsense. It seems silly to me. Did you have anything else, Serenity?
He is his family's from Central Turkey, and looks like he's been influenced by the mysticism of the Sufi Muslims. SUFI.
Well, if you've ever read anything that he's written about that, he's just so turned off by the Salafi that he finds the Sufi. It's not like he's a whirling dervish.
Oh yeah,
so he's a secular guy.
He's
a secular guy all the way.
Yeah, like I said, I don't hate him personally, but I just I mean, I can't don't hate the player, right?
Yeah,
I guess. All right.
He's
hey man,
we'll see what he says.
We'll see what he says.
Well, I'm going to bring up the next thing. Well, I mean, compared to Marianne Williamson running, I mean, I guess. Surprisingly, every now and then she'd say something halfway sane.
For anybody who's tuned in before we start this section, it's titled "The Government We Deserve." Just a reminder.
Well, now to be fair to Dr. Oz, He did when COVID stuff about in the 2020 and all that kind of stuff. He did talk about HCQ. I can't even say the damn word, hydroxychloroquine. I always mess it up. He's talked about ivermectin. It should be taken. He doesn't think it should be like politicized the way it is, or at least be looked into. He has gone for the benefits of that. That could just be sheer luck of him picking the right thing and some stuff possibly helping. He is also one of those people, like several other people, who didn't think that everything should have been shut down, that kind of stuff. So he has at least if someone's whispering in his ear, they're whispering the right stuff to him to possibly get him. There you go. But yeah.
Science.
I'm smart.
I got tools. I don't have working audio.
I'm a heart surgeon who decided to be a GP.
So let's look at this too. We're in the home stretch. U.S. mental health rating remains below pre-pandemic level. You think?
I wouldn't know the size of this study.
Yeah, this week in DUH, a steady 34% rate their mental health is excellent, matching record low. So this is self-reported.
Oh, I love that. Men, Republicans, churchgoers, higher income adults rate their mental health highest.
Yep.
Surprise.
But don't you think, I mean, leaving this article aside, don't you think that, it's pretty likely that the last couple of years have pretty much screwed a lot of people up?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
a whole lot of people, yeah.
Yeah, you say, oh, you can't have human contact, you can't work, you can't keep the business that you've built all your life, you can't see your loved ones die, you can't. That's just going to take its toll.
And half of you are going to hate your president.
No matter what.
Well, I mean, there's also the whole fact of...
And then we're going to play Switch.
There's the whole thing of people are literally being told that if you are cis, straight, possibly male, but the women are now being told the same thing, and white, like you're a piece of shit and you have no control over it. Sorry, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you.
The new original
it's affecting white gay men too now. They're starting to go after them.
Well, I mean, it's going to learn them because they joined that bandwagon real fucking quick. And then when now it's starting to turn on them, it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yep.
Well, once they were allowed to get married, they had nothing left to complain about, honestly.
Yeah, no. What's kind of like
from a legal perspective.
What's kind of like the movement now that I think is also affecting a lot of mental health is the fact that you have people literally being told, and not just people who are straight, but like lesbian and just gay. Like they have no, they both like innies, they both like outies. That's what that is. Are being told that, well, no, you're transphobic because you won't sleep with someone who identifies as male or identifies as female.
Yeah.
And it's
when did we get to the place where people told you who you had to want to sleep with?
When we allowed the theater kids to have control. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Well, I just don't understand why the feminists they've forgotten their own history.
Because none of them ever read it.
About, my body, my choice. I decide, who I sleep with. Now it's like, have fun with the feminine penis, you bigot.
Because they never read it.
That's also been co-opted too, realistically, by political ideologues who infiltrated. So it's. Yeah.
Remember Gold Star lesbians? Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Some of us do.
Why don't you define it for us, Serenity? Because you're the one laughing the hardest.
Hold on. Let me actually get the actual, because I don't want to butcher.
Okay.
Let me get the actual supposed.
Yeah, define Gold Star lesbian for us. I'm just trying to make the point of how far things have changed.
Well, this the latest. Oh, there's Urban Dictionary. There we go. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
Gold Star lesbian is a lesbian who has never slept with a man.
Yeah, it's like, they've got that pristine 100%
virginal.
always been a lesbian, no penis. Ever.
That's actually not the definition. That might be a Wikipedia definition. That's not.
Well, that's a definition.
I
don't know if
that's a definition.
That's Urban Dictionary. That's Urban Dictionary.
It's colloquial language anyway. There's no official definition.
Well, Cosmopolitan in the original article that coined the term said that the term means a lesbian who has only had sex with women, not non-binary, not furries, not transsexuals, none of that. It's a cis lesbian woman who has only had sex with cis lesbian women. That's actually from the original article in Cosmo.
AKA bigots.
Yeah, right. Like you read about.
Yeah, by modern standards, that's no longer a thing, right? Because it essentially means that you're closed-minded.
Well, and this goes more. Sorry, Geodes. 1 second.
No worries.
I promise. But this goes even beyond that whole thing. It goes for the fact of because people who don't live in states like mine, where pretty much we were locked down for 2 weeks, the governor went, "I can't force y'all to do shit," and just let us go. People who are in bigger states like California, specifically the major cities, and New York, they've literally been locked in their houses, in their apartments, only being able to live through social media. And it's something that's told constantly, but very few people ever seem to actually absorb. Social media, 95% of it's fake. Like, you have these people talking about, oh, look at my amazing apartment, or look at my amazing life, or look at all this stuff I bought. And it's like, and they found, at least with women for sure, that causes a lot of depression, because when you look at stuff like, oh, look, I lost 50 pounds during COVID, and then like you can't because you're depressed and you just can't get into that mental state, or you can't go to the gym or that kind of stuff. Like that has a lot to do with it, because now we're forced to live on the edge of manufactured reality, but instead of it being a TV show where we know it's manufactured reality, it's now something that a part of the brain, whether it's because of depression, anxiety, whatever, somehow still convinces us that it's reality, like real, true, hardcore reality, and then it makes it worse because then you don't feel like you're living up to anything. That's the big thing that's fucked a lot of people up.
Well, the idea of what people think is reality is a really, really interesting question.
Well, it goes back to
probably more of a Tuesday discussion than a Saturday discussion.
Well, but it also does go back to that very first article we did, where the incompetence, like a lot of, like with that stuff, like these mothers, stay-at-home mothers, stay-at-home wives, whatever, see these other women who supposedly have husbands who help them and all this kind of stuff. But in many cases, that's manufactured because it's a bit, or there's been several takes taken, or we don't know how much she actually like nagged him behind the scenes to get him to do stuff. So they see that. They see their husband not measuring up, and then they get upset, and then they think it's a guy just being incompetent because why can't you be like so-and-so? So it's this whole thing of like, I honestly, and I don't hate my own gender, I promise, but there's sometimes where it's kind of like, y'all, we screw ourselves over.
Yeah, all people are terrible, but you know, what are you going to do?
Yeah. But I think that's where a lot of this comes in.
Can't hate everybody.
Oh, I don't. It takes too much effort.
It does.
Not worth it.
So shall we move on to the tech talk?
Geodes, do you remember what you were going to say?
I was going to mention one thing, and that was a lot of this stuff also dates back a lot farther than I think people realize.
Oh, yeah.
When my mom was in high school, there was the whole movement of anti-WASP, which for anybody who doesn't know what WASP is, it's white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And you know, so stuff like this has been around for a very long time, and it's just it's honestly, a lot of it's just been rehashed. It's just, you know,
different
second
skins.
Well, it's, you know, at this point, 7th verse, same as the first. I don't know.
A little bit louder, a little bit worse.
Yep. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to keep this thing moving here. So Twitter had a few changes this last week.
Oh God! You thought Twitter was a hellhole? Welcome to the new hell.
So before I think this was before Jack Dorsey stepped down, Twitter did this thing where they were banning sharing photos or video of people without their consent. Now this is weird. Now it doesn't include public figures. Because here's their actual statement. I don't know.
I was about to say, do they define
all these things? So they have an actual thing from Twitter safety talking about what the policy does include it. So it's almost like we're back to the days of needing model releases for people.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think you should be posting private pictures of people without their consent. But once you're in the public space, like walking around the mall, or not necessarily the mall, but on the streets, you don't have a right to privacy. You're out in public. And normally you can take pictures of people, but by policy, they will not let you show faces of children sometimes. It's not so much a legal thing. So, I mean, Facebook can have whatever, Twitter can have whatever rules they want. It's their service. You're using it for free. But I think the problem is that we're worried this is going to stifle independent journalism. Clearly, they're going to use this as a way of shutting people down that are doing things that they've been able to do for the longest time, like just making fun of some lol cow. Oh, no, you can't have a picture of that bedroom feminist playing the guitar on your tweet because reasons.
Well, that's
you
the
don't
thing.
Have permission to use it.
What do they consider a public figure? Because is a public figure Twitch people? Is it Instagram? Like, if you're a verified TikTok or Instagram account, does that automatically make you a public figure? And then I can do this because you're putting your stuff out there? Like, I need to know their definition of public figure.
Well, I think if you have a check mark, if you got a blue check mark, you're a public figure at the very least.
And I'm sure that there's a legal definition of it. I don't want to butcher it, but I believe it's, anybody who makes any sort of career with persona. So anybody who's like an athlete, TV personality, actor, actress, be it screen or stage, those kinds of things, they're all well defined. To your point of TikTok star, Twitch, I don't think that they'd be specifically called out, but because they are of that sphere, if they reveal themselves on camera on their streams or whatnot, I do believe that is covered.
Can I? I'm sorry.
Go for it, Skep.
No, you're up.
All right. Public figure. The term public figure was defined in a civil case, Gertz versus Robert Welch. And it is defined in that case as an individual who has assumed roles of a special prominence in the affairs of a society or thrust themselves into the forefront of a particular public controversy to influence the resolution of the issues involved. Public figures also include individuals who have achieved pervasive fame or notoriety. Whether a party is a public figure is a question of law for the court ultimately to decide. Public figures who wish to recover for injury to reputation must establish that the defendant acted with actual malice against a public figure. Actual malice requires clear and convincing evidence that the defamatory falsehood was made with knowledge of its falsity or with reckless disregard for the truth. Mm-hmm. And that was I believe that was a libel case.
Mm-hmm.
Research, I think that was.
But Twitter has their own definitions, and this piece from
Reason,
no,
that was the murder case. That was the okay.
Yeah. This piece from Reason.com is basically saying that Jack Dorsey's exit from Twitter could worsen tech censorship. And I don't think they're wrong. I think in a lot of ways, I think we're going to find that Dorsey was holding them back from doing a lot of evil shit. And that the new guy in charge of Twitter is not going to be as tolerant. Or I should say as averse to change as Dorsey was. And don't make me defend Jack Dorsey, but compared to Agarwal, I don't think Agarwal, I think Dorsey, we're going to be missing Dorsey very quickly.
Yeah, if you had Agarwal, he's a nerd. He's a nerd fascist. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do your best defense attorney act for Jack Dorsey, Harry. Come on.
No. I've been mistaken for an attorney on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
Of course, I also go to places and people always ask me if I work there. It's like, I'm glad I look employable. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Is there anything more we want to say about this? Because it seems like we just know what's going to happen and we'll be talking about it, so we don't need to spend too much time tonight.
Maybe Twitter will circle the drain finally and it will all end.
Yeah, I would hope so. The quartering, Jeremy seems like a decent guy, but every now and then his take on stuff is pretty simple-minded.
Mm-hmm.
And his take on the shakeups at, in terms of some of the chief technical positions at Twitter, I thought were pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's not that unusual for a guy like this to want to get some people out who he's had some friction with and want to get some new people in and realign how divisions work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's totally within his authority to shake up a few of those top positions.
Oh, yeah.
And to make sure that there's a clearer chain of accountability for some of these projects. So, whatever. I don't care. I'm like 5 minutes away from deleting my Twitter account completely at this point because I just don't care anymore.
5 minutes too long.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. So, Amika, world's most advanced humanoid robot is unveiled in a UK lab with eerily realistic facial expressions and movements. Do we need this?
Yes.
No.
Screw you. I want robots.
No,
want
I don't.
androids.
They misspelled America.
I mean, that is actually pretty good in terms of the facial expressions.
Yeah, the hardware is amazing.
Where's that being made?
UK.
British lab.
So it's British expressions. That's a problem.
It's not another creepy Korean sex robot, thank God.
Yeah, no kidding. It'll be British, so it won't like sex.
And it won't have teeth so it can eat mushy peas.
Yeah, exactly.
Here it is looking surprised.
No, don't put that unused munition on the ground and fall on it.
Well, they're saying this is an
Let me help
entertainment
you up,
robot.
human.
They're manufacturing humanoid entertainment robots. So is this supposed to take the job of some college student out at a museum in front of an exhibit? I mean, I don't understand. Is this really something that needs to be mechanized?
I don't understand what an entertainment robot does. So
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't say
I thought that's
hospitality
what a
droid
TV
at
set-
least.
I thought that's what a TV set was.
Okay.
But I mean, let's take movies for example. Total Recall, Johnny Cab. You have an automated service, but you want to add that level of interaction, human familiarity to put the user at ease, and I don't see anything really wrong with that. Maybe I'm just too pragmatic about it.
If this is going to be like a caretaker robot for, I don't know, kids or something, I mean, you're going to use it as some sort of device for that sort of thing. Having it be able to have expressions, because, kids actually learn from expressions. Duh. Maybe that might be useful to have it have this level of expressiveness. But what I don't get is how any kind of AI or natural language stuff that's built into it is going to be able to interact with all these emotions that we're supposedly looking at, or whether it's just some kind of canned response. I mean, it's cool,
Well, canned response.
but it just seems like okay.
I mean,
cool.
eventually, we might be able to write sophisticated enough AI to make it more Android-like than, like we were saying, it's sort of service robots that just have that, because we're all masked anyway. Children won't see expressions outside of these robots, right?
Well, the Cylons have to come from somewhere.
Let me ask you a question. If you saw a robot like that had that kind of realistic expression on their face and was articulating the words as it spoke them, and it was Alexa, would that creep you out? In other words, basically, this is Siri, this is Alexa. They have the capability to articulate those words. So this is Alexa speaking to you in her robot body.
Let's get Tay instead. That would be funnier.
Yeah, or whoever. But you know what I'm saying.
Well, Tay's the one that was corrupted overnight by by trolls on the internet. No, if you walk up to like an information kiosk and you just see the torso of this thing you can ask it questions and it gives you answers. Is that really better than just having a touch screen? I don't mean to sound like some kind of Luddite because I'm actually pretty high tech. I think this is cool, but I just don't understand the motives.
Yeah,
because we can.
Yeah, that's I tend to agree. I think it's because we can.
Yeah,
which is proven throughout human history to be a very dangerous phrase.
Yeah.
Because
and it's also been incredibly beneficial to us.
I know, but this is a 50-50
imagine walking up to, to use Harry's kiosk example, like imagine you're walking into the McDonald's, and of course, instead of talking or looking at a kiosk, you have this robot. Oh, I want a number 6, please, with a large fries. Oh, and it has the expression, oh, what a wonderful choice. Thank you, blah, blah, blah.
No, I want to see a teenager who's working there, taking my order, who doesn't want to be there, because that gives me an odd little thrill.
Exactly.
All right. So this I actually thought was pretty cool. Because of the mic issue, has anybody looked over this, or do I need to talk about it?
You talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. So essentially, there's this huge pile of plastic floating around in the Pacific, which they're referring to as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Yeah.
They found a bunch of life forms on it, plants, animals, fish, and things that were treating this thing like it was an artificial shoreline.
Yeah.
These aren't things that live in the middle of the ocean. They were just like, oh, look, it's like a new man-made island. Let's just hang out here. Now, the thing that really surprised the researchers of these 40 different species of things they found living on this plastic crap was that there was actually enough nutrients and things out in the middle of the ocean to support them. They were expecting it to just be this extinction level thing, and instead it was like a whole new biosphere.
It's almost like nature can do shit.
Yeah, it's like nature doesn't want to just give up.
As Michael Crichton wrote, life finds a way.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like I love the fact they're surprised. It's like a duh. Doesn't mean the garbage patch should be there. But at the same time, it's like, what did you think was going to happen? Do you think animals just go, oh no, it's people, let me die?
Well, they've got barnacles, they've got crabs, they've got plants, they've got all this stuff, and it's like, oh, fine, free place to, some nice free shoreline. I'll just stake a claim here.
Out in the middle of the ocean, where they're safer in some cases from the predators that normally eat them, because the type of animals that normally eat them are
seagulls
only
are dicks. Yeah.
Yes, they are. But like the gigantic whales, whether they're the meat-eating whales or they're just the baleen, they don't eat those guys. So they have the ability to grow better, grow bigger, mutate, whatever. They're safe. Like, of course they're going to do this. It's like if they didn't get to the mindset of like it's the same thing as the manufactured reefs that we've done, where we basically just put stuff down that was clean, like old like cement pillars and stuff like that for the stuff to grow on. Mm-hmm. It's the same idea. It's just we didn't actively do it for that purpose. So our arrogant human brains were just like, oh no, you don't understand. You're wildlife. We're bad. You need to die.
I like that second last paragraph there. The islands of plastic could also become temporary waste stations that harbor invasive species, only to spit them out as currents shift and send them floating away to other places. But I mean, aren't we a little past that already?
That's what the garbage patch looks like. That's one of the arms of the garbage patch in the Pacific.
I bet you at sunset it's rather beautiful, though.
It is. I don't
with
see
the pink just kind of washing over the golden
off
hour.
into the distance. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's like it's that whole thing of like there is a. And this is not saying that I don't think we should take care of the planet. I think we should do everything we can, nuclear, recycle, stuff like that. But there is such a level of human arrogance to think that we are this inadvertently destructive of species, to think that Mother Nature won't just go, all right, you've changed the parameters, let's do this shit. It's so arrogant.
Well, the Earth has survived an awful lot of stuff. The permanent extinction is more than anything we could do, even if we wanted to screw up the planet. And there will always be life surviving, but that doesn't mean that we want to enjoy that kind of journey.
Yeah,
we can screw up the planet plenty badly enough without completely destroying it.
Yeah, and it's like I think we should still take care of it, but it's still that whole thing of like, can't fix stuff that happened 100 years ago because it's too late at this point.
Well, if you're going to take care of one thing, the ocean is probably it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. And one more thing. We've actually got a space article.
Yay!
Astronomers
Oh, yeah,
find a
this
new
was cool.
planet that's mostly made of iron. An iron-rich planet spotted in a nearby solar system could help scientists understand the mystery of how the planet Mercury formed in its own neighborhood. Well, essentially, they calculated the mass of this thing relative to its size and figured out the densities. Like, hey, this whole damn thing is made of iron. And it's really close to its sun and going very, very quickly. It would not be a place that you would want to go. But the fact that we found a decent-sized planet that's just basically just a huge lump of iron is really interesting. Mercury is not that dissimilar in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
A small but sizzling planet. Temperatures on the planet's surface could reach a scorching 1,500 degrees Celsius.
So is it molten iron then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Just think, if you had a steak, you could get your tomahawk steak and grill that thing up, salt bake, and
You'd only be able to hold it out there for like 2 milliseconds, and you have to pull it back in. Oh, well done, damn.
Get some good crustification going on.
This just giant glob of hot burning iron that's so close to
Iron
a
melts
star.
iron melts at 3,000 degrees, doesn't it? Do I remember that wrong?
Are you talking Celsius or Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit. I learned all my shit in
I
Fahrenheit.
have to look it up. Says if
2,800 Fahrenheit.
If a magma ocean does cover this planet,
2,800 Fahrenheit. Okay.
Yeah.
And if a magma ocean does cover this planet, and if it were possible to float on its surface and stare up at the sky, the red star that it's going around would look 30 times larger in the sky than the sun does in the Earth's sky. That's too close. I think it needs to. I think it needs to file.
You
some
could
kind of
handle it,
harassment
California
claim.
boy.
Yeah, come on.
No. I'm not one of those desert-loving English descendants.
Actually, the sun does not take up that much of our sky. 30 times that large would not be. You'd notice the difference, but it wouldn't be overwhelming.
It would be pretty dramatic.
Yeah, it would be dramatically different, but you could still see things that weren't sun in the sky.
Oh yeah, it would be like holding a serving platter at arm's length.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And what does it say its orbit was? Like eight Earth hours?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
Yeah, it's zipping around that star.
Whoosh.
Yeah, it's pretty much in the photosphere and
wild
just
plane.
going very quickly.
Yeah, I was
Anyways,
going to say it's
space is
merging
cool.
with the star.
Space is incredibly cool, and exoplanets are pretty cool.
Yeah. And
So,
Pluto.
does anybody have anything else before we bid everybody adieu?
Pluto's a planet.
Just comment that
No, it's
other
I
life
am the
forms-
Pluto.
Other life forms consider us an exoplanet.
I've
Yeah,
always heard the joke that we are the elves to other animals.
yeah.
That's what I've always heard. We are the elves.
Well, that's true. That's the thing about what Skep's talking about is that
Yeah.
all observers in the universe, the way the universe works, thinks that they're basically in the center and everything's moving away from them.
True. Very true.
So, yeah, from that viewpoint. Anyway, I'll cut this short because my mic is busted.
Your mic is not.
All right, everybody. If there's nothing else, I'm going to shut this thing down. We done?
It was great. Thanks for coming out and listening to us, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for suffering through the bad audio. I very much appreciate you all showing up tonight. And
Say bye,
with
Geodes.
that,
Good night.
the zoo is closed. Good night, everybody.
Bye bye.
Good night and good luck.
May God go with you, my child.